Hi everybody, Kaiwaza with you. Welcome back to the Kaiwaza YouTube channel and to Season 5 of the Cheap Lounge. We're up to episode 8 today. I am living my best life today in my what do you call it? Hieroglyphic cave painting caftan. Lounging around the house. Very hot though. Very hot. As soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to retire to the bedroom, close the boudoir, close the doors, and turn on my AC for a while. I do have a wall unit. I don't use it very often, but it's kind of hot today. Yeah, so here we are promoting, showing, talking about inexpensive dollar bin records from thrift stores and record stores that I have obtained and very recently digitized and uploaded onto my hobby radio station called Moody Mood Music, which you can listen to anytime on Live 365. That's going to be linked down below. More about that later. But I'm just going to show you some recent records. We'll do some needle drops and also do some needle drops on some records that I'm not necessarily going to talk about because we don't have anything particular to say about it. We're going to start today with one from 1958. Lovely cover, Confetti by Les Baxter and his orchestra. Now, in my circles, Les Baxter really is known for all of his exotica recordings. He had a hit with Quiet Village and then a plethora of sort of jungle, tropical, exotica records with massive amounts of percussion and somewhat. But this being 1958 is kind of just before all that really hit. And this is a European, the artwork on the back too, a European themed album. These are all songs, sort of a potpourri of European instrumentals. That's what it says. Full orchestra. As per usual, I love this sort of unusual songs or songs that there aren't a lot of renditions of, or I don't even know if any of these were written for this album, but they're not Les Baxter compositions, which he did write a lot of things, but these are not. The Lonely Whistler, Heartstring Melody, Bachelors of Brussels, I love those on this album. And then also you might recognize a couple songs that were hits for him on this album, April in Portugal and The Poor People of Paris. Les Baxter on Capitol Records right here, 1958. Here's an interesting little tidbit of a record from 1951. It's a 10-inch called Nero Fiddles? Yeah, Nero Fiddles. Great cover, right? And it is, comedic, sort of, because it actually kind of is, this recording. He was, let me tell you, I had a while back a budget label on Tiara Spotlight called Nero Stylings by Nero. And I had thought in my ignorance that it was Peter Nero, the famous, well-known pianist, recording mostly in the 60s. And I thought this was probably some budget recordings, garage recordings or something of his they had gotten from early on in his career. But when I played it and digitized it, it was like not piano. It was a violin and like little string quartets, a little jazz quartet, a little sort of classical jazzy group, string-based. And I, through some discussion and research, come to find out, in fact, that that's not Peter Nero, although he's not identified anywhere on that release. It was Paul Nero right here, who had not a sordid career, but you might never have heard of him because he really only did 3 or 4 records. But he was well known at the time in musical circles and a very well-respected jazz violinist, originally from Germany. He emigrated to the U.S. and passed away in 1958 in the United States. Obviously not too old because he's not very old there, and this was 1951. You see him back here. So apparently he did not, live to a ripe old age either, but he composed many things. Although the one that you might know, the only one you might know, I'll play it here in the background, is called The Hot Canary. He did compose that. That was kind of a hit, and it has been covered by quite a few other instrumental organizations over the years, so that one you would know. But I don't think anything else of his you would be familiar with. I certainly wasn't. And it's called Nero Fiddles Conversation Pieces, and indeed these are. They're all just like musical bonbons. He does unusual things with the violin, and the songs themselves are kind of very whimsical and very comedic and whatnot. So they're just like little conversational tidbits of songs that are really cute. I mean, I wish he had recorded more, or that we had more, but there were a couple songs on here that were just too weird. I'm like, okay, I mean, I appreciate it, but we're not playing it out of Moody Mood Music. But most of these tracks we did actually upload because they are really cute.
It's known I'm not shackled by forgotten words and bonds and the ink stains that have dried upon some line that keeps you in the back roads by the rivers of my memory, that keeps you ever gentle on my mind. Oh, she was always young and hot, kind of dumb and kind of smart, and I loved her so. And I surprised her with a puppy. It kept me up all Christmas Eve 2 years ago. And it would show.
Couple of European records here. Eurotrash, can we call it that? It's like budget label records, but European version, I say that with love, Eurotrash. This one is where is this one from? I think it's Holland. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is. The language. Stereo Festival. From no year on it, Mr. Music Maker and His Gang, who, this is their one and only album. And I'm sure it's not a real group. I mean, I don't know. But it's fascinating. I love it. Instrumental pieces, a lot of kind of songs whoever wrote, kind of original compositions. There's a few standards on here. There's like a version of Carmen that Bizzettery that has several Bizet songs in it. But things like Belgrade, Yugoslavia, Billowing Breakers, etc., Surf Move. It's just fun instrumental stuff. I love these kind of records, and I like this one too. In a related kind of record is this one that's actually European. I mean, it's an English record, but I'm sure it was not recorded originally in England, because the titles on the back, most of them, half of them are in German. It's 2,000 trumpets. I did wonder about this. Like, what is this? $20 trumpets, or what does that mean? 20. But I kind of did the Google translating stuff. Apparently, I guess that's how they represent 2,000, because it came out 2,000 trumpets. I don't know. By the famous, well-known artist of Gogo Jackson and the Pop Brass. I mean, who is that? I'm sure that's a pseudonym. I'm sure that's not a real artist. Yeah, and it's a made-up name, Gogo Jackson. Kind of a Tijuana ripoff. Also, more kind of a, I don't know what they call it. There's a term for it, I think, in Germany or in Europe, like happy beat, beat music. It's like kind of from the 60s. It's not rock, but it's like people being really happy and like clapping and like yay while the music is playing, and they're sort of maybe singing along, going da 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 da, whatever. That's what this is. I love that kind of schlep. It's all medleys, and what's interesting about it to me, it's German language, some of it. Some of these songs are Frank Valdor and his Beat Orchestra or whatever, from a Hawaiian album he did called Hawaii Beat a Go-Go or something like that. Frank Valdor. It's a fabulous album. It's very much kind of like our Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass Go to Hawaii. Great. I love that album. And some songs from here are taken from that album. Literally, they are taken from that album. They are spliced in with other songs from, apparently, I'm going to assume, other albums that people did of this kind of music. All sort of trumpet-based, they are, with people yelling happy things and clapping in these medleys, spliced together, fading in and fading out. It's odd. It's cute music. I mean, I really love this kind of music, and I really do enjoy it, but it's just weird. Like, I don't know. What is that? I know I have listeners from Europe or people that are familiar with it. Happy music, happy beat? I don't know what they call it. Obviously a European record too, because let's just there. I'll be like, there. What's wrong with this picture? You tell me. We know this is a European album. Okay. Just saying. Here's a CD. It comes from 1998. The best of Burt, Bacharach, and Hal David. Well, we love them. And what's interesting about this CD is that it's by something called the Symphonette Society. Now, immediately, of course, many of our minds would go, the Longines Symphonette. So that's the only society, Symphonette Society I know is the Longines Symphonette Society. who went belly up, closed by the feds, I guess, like around 1974. So how is there something from 1998 from the Symphonette Recording Society? That, my friends, is a very good question that has remained unanswered. These are, in fact, recordings from the Longines Symphonette box set of Burt, Bacharach, and Hal David songs. The very self-same, I mean, it was a big box set, but these are 10 songs or whatever they're from that box set. They are those recordings. Very nice, of course. Longines Symphonette Society, vocal and instrumental. Apparently, this is Riverside, Flashback Records. Flashback Records. They have quite a number of other releases that they did, and I'm going to venture out and say probably semi-bootlegged. Do you think? I don't know. Do you think anybody really got the rights to the Longines Symphonette Society recordings? I kind of don't think so. And I kind of think they would have issued them under that name had they. I don't know. Maybe these people were also involved in like music streaming type services or something, and they also had those recordings, the rights to them, and put them. How did they get the rights to them, though? I mean, Longines Symphonette was closed down by the feds, right? So, and I thought all the masters and things were just gone. Everything was destroyed. But I mean, apparently not. If these are out here, this is not a recording off of vinyl. This is pretty much, I'm pretty sure, is from masters. I don't know. Does anybody know anything about that? Flashback Records. It says all titles under exclusive license from the Symphonette Recording Society. Flashback Records, Los Angeles, California. I couldn't find anything. I don't know. You tell me. However, if you're interested, you can hear selections from this and all the records that I am showing today on the delightful, easy listening, old school radio station called Moody Mood Music, which I run. Taken from thousands and thousands of easy listening recordings. You can listen to that 24 hours, 7 days a week. Because I know some people who like this kind of music, they're not collectors. I know some of you are collectors, right? So I get it. But a lot of people are not collectors. They just like this kind of music, but they're not going to go to all these thrift stores and record stores and collect all this crap and buy record players and yada, yada, yada. But they would love to be at home or out or whatever and listen to this kind of music because they either used to like it in the past or it's something many younger people are now discovering. So they're like, I want to hear more. So Moody Mood Music is a great place to hear vocal and instrumental music from the easy listening era, okay? Up next, this album was a real surprise to me, a real surprise. I do like the high-lows. It's a vocal, I think it's a quartet. I have many of their albums. They're kind of jazz-oriented pop from the 50s and 60s. This record's from 1962. And I do have several of their recordings. We do have music from them on Moody Mood Music all the time, but this album was a surprise because I didn't realize how exotic it was. Contrary to what the cover will tell you, this is quite an exotic record. And the reason being, what's different about it is that the orchestra conducted by Claire Fisher. Now, who is Claire Fisher? Claire Fisher was an important associate member of the group. I didn't know this because it's a male vocal group. She's been their pianist since 1957. She wrote all of the orchestral arrangements for this album, and it's quite different. There's a lot of percussion. There's a lot of very lush, Manuel-esque bongo action going on here. It's really a nice album. In fact, if I was going to compare it to something, I would kind of say, yeah, it almost sounds like Manuel and his music of the mountains meets the high-lows. I'm from Hawaii, and I always want to say Hilos. I always have to stop myself when I see that name and go, high-lows. High and low, but we have a city, Hilo, here. Anyway, yeah, if you see this one, I highly recommend it. It's really cool arrangements, very exotic.
Let me love you. Let me show that I do. Let me do a million impossible things. People, when the steeple bell says good night, sleep well, we'll.
And I'll just mention very quickly, lastly, because I just love her. There's nothing, we've talked about her before. Shown her plenty of times. Peggy Lee. We love Peggy Lee. I really love Peggy Lee. This album's great. This is from the, when is this from? I can't read my writing. 1970. A lot of 1970 pop songs on this record. So this is not like her doing Fever or whatever. This is Long and Winding Road, Make It With You. I want to make it with you. It's great. La da 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 da. It's so awesome. I love the song Goodbye too. I'll never forget you. Anyway, yeah. Love it. Love it. Peggy Lee can do no wrong. Did she ever do an album you didn't like? I've never heard an album from her I didn't like. Never ever.
Since I've got my lover around, I'm 7 feet above the ground. I've never been so happy in my life. I love it to find myself up among it. Still they lead me back to the long winding road. You left me standing here.
Each night before you go to bed, my baby, whisper a little prayer for me, my baby, yeah, and then tell all to waste my life would be a sin. Release me and let me love again.
Anticipation is making me late, keeping me waiting on just an old-fashioned love song coming
All right, that's it. That is episode 8 of season 5 of Cheap Lounge. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to please tune into the radio station, Moody Mood Music, anytime, night or day, live365.com. That's linked down below. And don't forget to leave your comments if you know anything about these artists or have these records or any comments about anything related. They are most welcome to be continuing the comments down in the comment section below. Okay, so thank you very much, and I hope to see you all in the next video. I'm going to say happy 4th of July, but I'll probably see you before the 4th of July. I mean, it is only the 26th of June. All right, bye.